Hey guys, it's your man KP67s bringing you another Imperial Academy video where we talk about different Empire characters and their usefulness for people who like Empire. So, today we're going to be talking about the last member of the Empire arena that I like to use, and that is Grand Admiral Thrawn. So Grand Admiral Thrawn is a support character and he's a fleet commander. They recently just put out the Chimera, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about the Chimera today. That'll be a video for another time. So with respect to Thrawn's stats, he has really good tactics and strength, which means that he's going to have strong damage output and is going to have a good amount of health and armor to protect him. So when you look at his health and protection, for instance, I have for about 72k. I also built him speedy. I'll explain why later. His armor is pretty decent, actually, 32%. That's like on the level of quite a few tanks, so that's nothing to cough at. And finally, his special damage is quite strong for most characters. His basic actually is only second to Krennic in terms of damage strength. And you can see that his special critical chance is not the highest, and I didn't mod it to be very high. And again, I'll explain that in a little bit as well. So where can you find Grand Admiral Thrawn? Well, the truth is, you can't find him in any locations. He is a part of the legendary event, the Artist of War, where you require 5 Phoenix characters to get him. If you have high gear Phoenix characters, you should be able to get him at 7 stars. If you do not, if you have your Phoenix at like gear 7, gear 8, preferably gear 8, you can do it with good mods and a lot of RNG. RNG plays a big factor at lower gears. It could take you 2.5 hours to do, it could take you 7 hours to do, it could take you 2 days to do. Whatever amount of time, it depends on how good RNG works for you. With respect to Thrawn's gears, Thrawn is a little bit of a gear hog in the sense of he requires 8 Carbontes, so that's about 400 salvage. In addition, he also requires 3 stun guns, as well as a bunch of Mark V Lorinars. However, with the Lorinar power cells, those are part of the Mace Windu Daily Challenge, so honestly, not a lot of characters use it, so you should have a pretty good surplus of stuff for Thrawn to be able to use. Getting into Thrawn's abilities, we have his basic, which is Manipulate. Now, keep in mind, Thrawn is, as far as I can think, the first and only character that the developers made to attack characters and to attack raid bosses differently. So, with Manipulate, he deals special damage and inflicts speed up for 1 turn. Or, if they already had ability block, he stuns them for 1 turn. When that speed up expires on their turn, so i.e. if you were to shoot Darth Nihilus and Darth Nihilus goes, that speed up turns into an ability block, which cannot be resisted. For raid bosses, all it does is inflict defense down, and that can't be resisted. It's automatically inflicted. This is pretty key at really kind of screwing up the turn meter sort of setup that the opposing team may have, as well as blocking a character or stunning them at a very opportune time for yourself. His first special ability is Fracture, where he deals special damage to the target 4 times. Then, he dispels them, removes all their buffs, he removes 50% turn meter, and he inflicts Fracture until the start of Thrawn's turn or if Thrawn is defeated. The Fracture can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. So Fracture is a really neat debuff that they included. It sets their speed to 0, they can't gain buffs, bonus attacks, or bonus turn meter. So that means you basically turn that character into a sitting duck, which is amazing. They can't do anything. For raid bosses though, it decreases their speed by 50%, they can't gain buffs, and they lose 30% counter chance. This is key when you look at the Super B2 Battle Droid, which has a 35% counter chance, so this drops it down to almost nothing. In Grand Admiral's command, you swap, not give, swap turn meter with target other ally. You cleanse both Thrawn and that ally, and then they both gain 40% protection. This is a key little move because you can dispel a ton of debuffs that may be present on somebody, you can give back protection, as well as the fact that if your side is fractured, you can actually give TM to a fractured ally because you're not granting them bonus TM, you're swapping with them. So Thrawn's leadership legendary strategist. Empire allies have 15% max protection, 25% offense, and 20% turn meter gains whenever they resist a detrimental effect or suffer a debuff. So whenever they get hit by a debuff, they gain 20% turn meter. So Thrawn gets an advantage regardless of whether or not these debuffs stick. Whenever an Empire ally loses a status effect, they recover 2% protection. This applies to both good and bad status effects, whether they're gaining or losing them. So defense up, defense down, offense up, offense down. Take your pick. They gain protection. And then finally, Empire allies gain a new special called Maneuver, where they cleanse themselves and gain 50% turn meter. A lot of people kind of look at Maneuver as kind of pointless. On defense, artificial intelligence is not the brightest in the world in this game, so it will tend to spam Maneuver a lot. But if you're in control, you can manipulate the battle in so many ways, shapes, and forms, it's not even funny. And finally, Thrawn's unique, where when he fractures somebody, he gains these. He gains 100% counter chance, 100% tenacity, and minus 50% speed when he fractures someone. This means that both he and the other, he will be slowed down, but he will be able to counter and resist basically anything you throw at him. Whenever another Empire ally uses a special, that ally gains 15% turn meter, and Thrawn and the fractured enemy lose 15% turn meter. So he essentially speeds up anybody who uses a special and slows himself down, and by extension with the Zeta, slows down his opponent. This can be really good at eating away at someone's turn meter if you fracture them and they were just about to go. You can basically reset them at the beginning of their move, which in the long run still makes them slower. It still kills one more extra turn for them. A lot of people just Zeta Ebb and Flow for the raid purposes because it's very good at stealing turn meter from the Super B2 Battle Droid or the Rancor. I do recommend having it for Arena because if you can manipulate your specials appropriately, this just makes Thrawn that much more useful at keeping control over the battle. Once again, Empire is all about controlling the outcome of the battle. So when it comes to Thrawn's mod sets, I highly recommend you set up a 4-piece speed set with 2-piece whatever you want. If you want a crit chance, health, that's fine. I chose tenacity because I had 2 tenacities with good speed on them, so I figured, okay, let's throw them on Thrawn. Now, why do you want him fast? Because you want him to go first across the board, because that affords you the most amount of strategy to be able to manipulate your opponent. You can pass turn meter off to Death Trooper, and Death Trooper throws his TM increasing cooldown increasing grenade. You could toss it to a tank like Shore Trooper and get him to taunt and put crit immunity on everybody. You could fracture somebody. You could do whatever you choose with Thrawn if he's about to go first. This is why Raid Han is a little OP, because he took away that component of strategy, and you kind of have to go in and hope that the AI doesn't target Thrawn with Raid Han shoots first. It's kind of ridiculous, and it kind of puts you at a bit of a disadvantage, but you can come back from it in, like, I'd say 80 to 85% of cases, you can come back from it. Also, as a note, you do not need potency on Thrawn because everything he does it can't be resisted. So there's no sense in stacking any level of potency on Thrawn. So with respect to his secondaries, obviously you want speed, you're gonna want protection, you're gonna want offense. Between speed, protection, offense, I'd say those are your big 3 that you would need. After that, it's really up to you. Like, I have a little bit of crit chance, a little bit of health here and there. Like, my mods need a little bit more optimization, but I'm pretty happy with the speed that he has because it keeps me competitive, it keeps me being able to climb in Arena. So finally, when it comes to the uses of Thrawn can be used anywhere. You want him in Arena? He's good in Arena. You want him in Raids? He's good in Raids. You want him in Galactic War? He's good in a Galactic War. You want him in Dark Side nodes or Cantina? He can do those as well, no problem. In an Empire team, you have, like, it's amazing at how easy things come across or how easy things become when you get the ball rolling on your side, and how easily you can dismantle a defense team pretty quickly and pretty easily. That's what makes Thrawn really, really amazing, and I'm glad they stuck to a lot of his character traits for this, for his creation. And finally, as a quick note, like I said, he has a ship, the Chimera. It's a new ship which also requires Phoenix and Rebel ships, specifically to be able to unlock and get to 7 stars. Unfortunately, my Phoenix ships were not at 7 stars. Also, I didn't have very many Rebel ships up at 7 stars too, so I got them to 6 stars, luckily. But the 7 stars is going to have to wait for, I would surmise, 4 to 6 months. So work on your Rebel ships, get them to 7 stars, get them geared decently. I would say up to gear 9, maybe gear 10. Or gear 8, you can get him at gear 8 too. I just scraped by with gear 8 Phoenix on these ones too. So I may upgrade them in 6 months, but we'll see. So that concludes the character review, guys. Like I said, Thrawn is a pretty integral component to any Empire team you want to be able to run. He's gonna pull his weight in terms of the return on investment for gear, for mods, for whatever it may have cost you to get to Thrawn. He pays it all off in spades because he just makes the game fun for you. It's so much fun cracking, like, you know, Commander Luke Skywalker across the face with Thrawn, or fracturing Kenobi, or, like, you know, just kind of screwing up somebody's attempt to, like, you know, hurt one of your team members by cleansing them. Thrawn has a lot of utility, and I highly recommend you guys gear him, Zeta him. He should honestly be like one of the top priorities for you, because he will get you very far in this game. Alright guys, that concludes my review. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Got any suggestions, please leave a comment. If you like these videos a lot, go ahead and subscribe, and you know, more coming down the pipeline. Okay guys, have a good night.